Can we hear it start up?
Sure can.
So it's a one-piece tilt front end now.
It's a 66 Fairlane.
This is my office right here.
Hi, Randy Bybee, Awesome Cars Forever. I'm here today with Scott Savage, and he's going to tell us about his 1970 GTO Ram Air 3 Judge.
Yes. Bought this car right when I graduated high school. It was the winter of 2002. Kind of a somewhat long story. It had to deal with the owner. It was in solid shape but needed complete restoration. Still living with my parents at the time. They called when I was at work and had a discussion and kind of got sold out from underneath me, even though it's supposed to have been saved. So I ended up having to buy it off of the next guy that bought it, and end up getting it then, paying a little bit more money than what I was wanting to pay for it, but being numbers matching and true judge, I always wanted one when I was in grade school, fell in love with the car, and took it down to Knightstown, Indiana. After I did the work myself, I stripped it all down myself. I got it down to the chassis, just a doghouse on the frame, took it all apart, started doing a lot of the work myself. Came down to if I wanted to pay money to have my parents' garage upgraded to 100 amp service and buying an air compressor and everything, and then waiting years to recoup money to do the body work, so then I just chose to have it done instead of doing it myself. It was there in Knightstown for about 3 years, got almost all the way finished, got 2 coats of base paint, ended up getting ripped off by the owner, so I brought it home and it sat in the garage for 6 years, somewhere around 5-6 years, and got offered a good price to finish it in the town I live in, and couldn't pass up the offer. It was a heck of a deal, and pretty much got it to where it's at right now. I've still got a little bit due to it. I need to have the dash recovered and new gauges put in, and a couple other small odds and ends, but it's pretty much complete.
Well, it looks really nice.
It's quite a few years. I had it in 2002, and I don't think I got it finished till let's see, about 2014.
Okay.
So it took about 12 years to get to where it's at now. 6 years sitting in the garage.
Great.
After the first body shop. So
let's have a look inside.
Yep, sounds good. One thing you'll notice that you won't see on, I've never seen on another Judge before, and people have called me out on it thinking it's just a standard GTO, is it's automatic on the column. But the good thing about cars back in the day, whatever you wanted on it,
that's right.
You pay the money, you got it. And this is the only GTO Judge that I've ever seen with automatic on the column.
You know what? It's the only one I've ever seen with that.
Yep.
You know. And right there she is.
Yep.
Now, is that the steering wheel that came with it?
Yes, that's first year they offered the Trans Am racing wheel. It was first year was 70. Besides the Judge package, they ordered the Trans Am racing wheel and the automatic on the column. It come with bucket seats and no console in the middle.
Now, is that the original radio?
No, that's aftermarket. It's actually a digital screen made to look similar to the original style. I wanted something I could actually be able to listen to music to and not have as much interference as possible.
Right.
And had the interior done from a guy lives in the same town as I do. He's retired now, but did a very excellent job. Very happy with it. It's got soundproofing on the floorboards and soundproofing above the headliner to keep the noise sound down, road sound, and to keep the heat levels. It does help keep it nice and cool inside, being black interior.
Well, that's a beautiful black interior. I'm telling you that.
Thank you very much. Yes, they did. The interior itself is from Phoenix. I want to say it's Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix Interiors. Is the top of the line that they had to offer better quality interior. So I spent the money and went with a better quality interior.
I see you got the original Judge wheels.
Yes, those are actually not the ones to. Those are actually a little bit deeper dish than the originals, but they're they're original Rally 2s that I got off of another 70 GTO.
Now what? And forgive me, was this the original collar you say?
No, the original collar was a Granada Gold. It was a metal flake gold. But when I was in high school looking to try to buy one that was finished, I'd say about 75% of them that I'd see on the internet for sale was that Granada Gold. And when I first saw this collar, it was off two movies, Two Lane Blacktop and Dazed and Confused. And when I saw the collar of it, I fell in love with it at first sight.
So this is called?
This is Orbit Orange.
Orbit Orange.
Yeah, the original was a gold with metal flake in it, and it had a tan interior. That's one reason why I was going to stick with the original collar exterior, but I hated the tan interior. I hated it. I did not like it at all. I knew I was going to switch it to black.
Right.
So I'm thinking, well, if I'm going to switch the interior, I might as well switch to the paint I like the best and is the least produced. So not as many was produced with this collar. And you know, it's been my dream car ever since second grade. One of the first car shows I went to, my grandpa took me to, and I remember seeing a polar white one.
It's beautiful.
At a car show, and I fell in love with the car ever since then, and always said I wanted, if I ever bought a car, it was going to be a 70 GTO Judge. It would be the first car I buy.
This is a huge trunk.
Yes, yeah, it is. Yeah.
You could almost hear an echo in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I still got to get the spare tire. I have fixed up a spare wheel and found a jack. Got to have it recoated and put in. Like I said, it's got a few odds and ends. I got to have the dash recovered, and some gauges and a few other small things. And they'll pretty much be complete to where I want it.
Right. Let's go and take a look at the motor.
Sounds great. It's a Pontiac 400 Ram Air 3, numbers matching.
Did you have anything done to it? I mean, even though it's still numbers matching, but
completely rebuilt. I had it completely rebuilt, and it's kind of good because I had my neighbor, when I was having the body work done, my neighbor worked on it. He did the framework and the engine, went through the engine, and it's kind of a good thing I did. I took it to a supposedly top-notch engine shop. But they made a few mistakes. They painted the wrong color, which I noticed right off the bat, and then later I ended up looking at it and ended up putting the water gasket pump on backwards. And
that's not good.
No, and luckily when he went through it, luckily I had him go through it, they forgot to put the lower dipstick tube in. And this is from a well-known engine shop in Indy. They're supposed to do nothing but rebuild engines for a living. So
right.
You always definitely want to make sure that stuff's done the right way, especially for the money that you pay to have it done.
This is all still original right here.
Yeah, that's actually reproduction.
A reproduction?
Yeah, the sad thing was when I was supposed to buy the car off the first guy that it originally had to deal with, he had all the parts in the back seat and in the trunk. Well, I did not know when I went to go see about the car, he actually had the Ram Air system for it.
Right.
And then I found out years later he come to see me to see how the car was going, and he told me, he goes, well, I was kind of surprised you paid him, you know, more money for it and let him keep the Ram Air system. I was like, Ram Air system? Like, you didn't have the Ram Air system? I said, you had a 68 pan and another pan that you threw in that was with it. He goes, oh no, I had that stashed in the garages between the tool chest and the bench where you did not see it. I said, well, I guess you got me good. I said he ended up making about $4,000 off me by the time cash and then what the original Ram Air system would be worth.
Wow.
So yeah, so I ended up just buying reproduction from Ames. So it's, you know, it's pretty much
good.
Almost exactly. It's the better style. They've got multiple ones out there. Some of them are cheap, plastic,
right,
and all that. But yeah.
Can we hear it run?
Sure can. Always had a little issue getting it started and running good. I had to have work done on the carburetor to get it to run right, because when I was going to buy the car off the original guy, I did not know he had already previously worked on the engine, and it's a Ram Air 3 engine, but he ended up putting a Ram Air 4 cam in it.
Okay.
But when I took it to have the engine rebuilt, they talked me into it. I wasn't going to, but they asked, hey, you want to put a little bit bigger cam in it, give it a little bit more growl to it and everything, more powerful? I said, sure, why not? So it ends up having a little bit bigger cam than a Ram Air 4 cam in it. So it gets a little finicky.
Sounds good. I'm going to go back and listen to the pipe.
Yep.
Sounds good. You know what? What kind of muffler system you're running? Is it
Yes, it's a Pipe brand. It's
pipe?
yeah, medium style. It's not the super loud. It's not the quieter type. It's the in between. I can't remember what the. I think we're gonna say it's called Performance. It's the line X series, X pipe, and by Pipe brand.
Great.
Went with when I had it redone. The first time in Knightstown, I had probably about $3 grand in the frame and all the disc brakes and lines and everything. I went back the next year, and they left it sit outside. Well, it sat outside all winter and not covered up. Well, I go looking at it in springtime, and I had all OEM lines, the standard lines, and they had all rusted, and the rust ran down on the frame. They had already been coated, new brakes, new shocks, everything was done and ready as far as the frame and everything. And I told him, I said, that's not gonna pass. So, you know, I said, it's supposed to be a show car. I said, I know it's not gonna be top notch, but I want it as nice as possible. So I told them they needed to rip it all off and redo it. Well, when they did, all they did was take truck bed lining and spray all over, and it was still like tar like 6 years later, because they either didn't put hardener in or it was bad. So after I went through and had it redone a second time, everything, I went ahead and went with stainless steel brake lines, gas lines, and I went with 2.5-inch exhaust. So
well, it sounds marvelous.
It's not completely stock, but it's as much stock as what I wanted. I wanted to do a little bit of upgrades. So.
Well, Scott, I want to thank you for being on the show today, and I really appreciate the car.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank you. Appreciate it.
You know, and how long have you owned this?
Since 2002.
Wow.
So,
it's a part of your family now.
Yes,
then.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It'll be with me till I'm dead gone. It'll never be. It'll never be sold.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's my baby.
That's good.
I've got one other car I'd like to get done, but it'll probably be years from now because it's a super rare car to find parts for. So it's really hard to find parts for. So.
Well, again, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
And thanks to all my subscribers. I really appreciate you subscribing. If you like what you see, please subscribe. And we'll see you next time on Awesome Cars Forever. Thanks.